Well, on Monday, and this is a show about you, not about Washington. This is to show you how much you now have to dig in. We have 14 people in Congress. We called them all up. 14 people who will sign this nonviolence pledge. It's very, very simple. But they needed more time to study this. They didn't need much more time to read this, or they understood that they got this one down. But I realized why. I'm not speaking their language. So, to be able to get more people in Congress to sign a nonviolent pledge and have a little bit of courage, what I've decided to do is tonight, after the show, I'm going to bring the nonviolence pledge to a yay or nay vote, which will likely trigger a filibuster attempt at some point during the filibuster. I'm going to hold a cloture vote, and then we'll cap consideration at 30 additional hours, unless, of course, we don't get a vote of 3/5 majority. But once the 30 hours is up, we'll hear any non-germane amendments to the statement. Once those are heard, I'll immediately bring forward the reconciliation bill with further amendments and changes, which will then lead us, of course, into a pro forma session. Once that is done, we are out of the woods and on our way to wait for any more filibusters and then just repeat the process. If that doesn't work, I have another idea. I'll then resort to bribery. Or no, I can't. We don't call it bribery. We call it sweetheart deals, or a special project for your district. Oh, I'll name it after people. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm going to offer the senator from Nebraska free DVRs for everybody in his state so they can watch the show. Now you're saying, how are you going to pay for that, Glenn? I'm going to make the taxpayers in Rhode Island foot the bill, since their governor won't let the state workers go on talk radio. And then I'm going to go to Iowa and make my case on this pledge. Oh, wait a minute. Did he say Iowa? Iowa? Is Glenn Beck running for president? I don't know. Or is this more of his dangerous rhetoric? Or is he just a rodeo clown? He's evil. He's great. He's a genius. He's a madman. Oh, what a stupid genius he is. Too many decisions to decide. If I only had a cloture vote on whether Glenn Beck was telling the truth or Media Matters was telling the truth. Oh, well, it doesn't matter anyway, because I think the American people can look at something this simple, a pledge saying I denounce violence regardless of ideological motivation, and they can just deem and pass a nonviolent pledge. You see, Congress rejects simple facts. They don't understand them. They won't read a 1,000-page bill or 88,000 pages of a tax code, but they'll sign them. And why are we so surprised there's no recovery? Can you imagine? My staff and I were talking today. Can you imagine what the meetings were like? We called members of Congress and said, hey, you get that? Yeah, we did. You going to sign it? Hang up the phone. And we thought, what are the meetings like right now? You know, with their aides, they're all gathered in the office. Are we going to sign the non-pledge? Are we against nonviolence? Are we for violence? I don't really know. A nonviolence pledge from whom? Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck. What do our constituents think of Glenn Beck? Do they hate him? Do they love him? Check the polls on Glenn Beck and nonviolence. Where do we stand with pro-violence people? Are we going to get funding from anybody pro-violence? Will we get more funding if we're anti-violent? What do the focus groups say, Bill? What groups? What groups? I'll tell you about groups. How about the groups that will sign up to protest stuff if we sign? What about the polls? What about the polls? What will the polls do if we sign? Don't sign. What if we sign with Glenn Beck or sign another one with not Glenn Beck? I mean, is this part of the talk radio? Is this a trick? Is this a trap? Gee, I don't know. My gosh, America, look how easy it is to do business now in this country. You can get anything done now. That's the game they're playing. Are you done with it yet? Because I am. I told you 2 weeks ago when I got back from vacation, I'm done. I'm done playing the game. I don't care what they do. It's time for people to get things done. It's time for people to lead. It's time for the leaders to sit down. And you know when they'll sit down? We just tell them, you don't affect my life anymore. Oh, I'm going to watch you. Oh, I'm going to vote every single time, but I'm rolling up the sleeves and just getting things done myself, because the answer's not going to come from Washington. The problem comes from Washington. That's why the E4 solution, if you will, enlightenment, education, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. It's not about violence. It can't be about violence. Entrepreneurship is about creativity. It's about creating something of value. That's why this show this year is not going to focus on them. It's going to focus on you, because you are the key. You are the answer.
The problems haven't changed in the past 40 years. Neither have the talking points. It's time to break the cycle. Next.